there's no way I introduced uh, a bad buyer to the seller who I promised to make sure that I'm gonna make these payments to on time every single month. If you have to teach somebody what a creative deal is, they're probably not a good buyer for you right now. What's up, dogs? We back with another one. Look, I was just talking to one of my friends and they asked me, what case scenario would I use a seller finance deal, do seller finance rather than cash or sub two? All right, so I figured I'd just tell a quick story about the first seller finance deal I've ever done. So the difference between seller finance and subject to is one has a mortgage, one doesn't. Seller finance, there's no mortgage in place. Subject to, there's a mortgage. All right, so first seller finance deal I ever did is when I bought Essel's house. Essel actually just bought this house. He probably bought the house about a couple months, 3 months before he actually sold it to us, right? And it was crazy. He had pretty much no equity. He wanted to sell it, but he had no clue what he was walking into. The house was cash flowing. He lived in another state though. He lived in Boston. The property was in Baltimore, right? And he bought it at an auction, has never seen it, but he bought it and it's cash flowing. So he bought it for around $50,000. He wanted to sell it for $100,000, and ARV was probably around 80,000, right? And he didn't really need to cash. He didn't really need to manage it too much. In reality, he told me that he just wanted this number. He said he would sell it for $100,000 regardless, right? And that was probably $5,000 to $10,000 over market value at that time. And I just threw it out there. I said, look, cash definitely doesn't work. The only way I could possibly even entertain this number is if you give me terms. He says, what's terms? All right, is where I can pay you some now and some later, right? I can pay you the most for this property. I can pay you more than what it's worth. It doesn't really matter to me. I just need to make sure I can cash flow every single month. So we got into what his monthly payment is, if he had any, which he didn't because it's seller finance, right? So we figured out how much would he want for a monthly payment versus how much is he receiving from his tenant currently. The tenant was paying him $1,100. And what I told Essel was, I can pay you the most for this house, right? That's not an issue. I can pay you over market value, but the terms just have to make sense. I cannot give you the high price and high terms, right? It just doesn't work. So in order for this to work, I need to be able to name my price. So what I did was I said, I can give you this $100,000, but I need $0 down, and we'll give you $300 a month at 3% interest for the next 30 years, right? And then he was completely fine with it. I was surprised. I was super surprised. I just threw it out there. I wasn't expecting him to say yes, and he just said yes, right? And he threw out some other counters, but his main thing was he just wanted to cash flow. We ended up negotiating and we got it at what I wanted. It was $0 down and 3% interest, $300 a month. Now I actually did not keep this property. Looking back at it, I'm a little upset that I didn't keep it. I should have kept it, but it was one of my first creative deals. So I ended up wholesaling it. Yes, you can wholesale creative finance deals. It's just like wholesaling a regular deal, right? So we ended up wholesaling this for $15,000. We found a buyer who came in. They took the property over and they started making the payment to Essel every single month. I introduced them to. They closed on it. They paid me my assignment fee, and now she owns the property and she's continuing to pay it every single month. It's crazy though. I was actually looking back. It made me think all the properties that I ever wholesaled, all the creative properties I ever wholesaled, I actually went back to look at them, like just look them up online on Google just to see what's going on. I went back to that one a few months back and it actually said pre-foreclosure. So I started freaking out. I was like, nah, like there's no way I introduced a bad buyer to the seller who I promised to make sure that I'm gonna make these payments to on time every single month, right? I had an obligation to make those payments. And if I brought a bad buyer in place, how does that look for me? Right. So I was scared. So I ended up doing some investigating. I called that buyer, called the seller, made sure everything was good. And thankfully it was good. That was owed before, it was owed since before Essel even bought the property. So as good old Baltimore City failing to update their records. Shout out to them. But yeah, it's super important. Like if you're going to wholesale seller finance deal, to vet your buyers, right? Somebody actually just reached out to me the other day. They said their team does not want to sell the creative finance deals, which means they don't want to do creative finance deals now because they can't wholesale them because they don't trust the buyers. They said, how do you get around that? I said, it's a simple answer. You sell to the right people. You vet the buyers. You make sure they actually done a creative deal. You actually own creative deals and they understand the process. If you have to teach somebody what a creative deal is, they're probably not a good buyer for you right now, right? So yes, you can wholesale seller finance deals. You can wholesale sub 2 deals. It's really good to do to start off. It's actually probably easier than a wholesale deal. So I had to explain that we had disqualified cash first because otherwise the seller is gonna think that seller finance, we just rather do seller finance. They're gonna think that they have other options, but we need to first show them that their cash number is way higher than where we needed to be at, right? So I can give you a cash offer and I can give you a terms offer. If you need the money fast, cash is probably your best option, but it's not going to be the highest price. Now, if you just need some of the money right now and you're okay with the rest of it coming over time, terms is where I come in at the end. So seller finance does not work for every situation. It only works when maybe a seller's asking for too much money, and it doesn't work for cash. That you need to come back to that after you disqualify cash first. I see so many people go straight for seller finance, straight for terms. No, go cash, go to terms last. I'm actually going to be going through deals like this and other deals that I've done, other deals that I'm doing in my Discord community. I built the community so I can have friends that want to do the same thing as me, that want to do deals together. We can help each other out and really squad up. So I have in the Discord community, there is a case study file, a case study, what's it called, bro? A case study channel. There's a case study channel in the Discord where we actually go over deals like this on a regular basis. So as they come along, we're going to have these conversations. There's a voice channel. People can ask questions. So if you have not already joined the Discord, what are you doing? Hit the link below because the Discord is in there. And if you invite multiple people, as many people as you can, you could have a chance to win a free one-on-one with me. So let's do it. Hit that link right now. Join the Discord. I'll see y'all in there.
I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in a room. I've been so real, I'm dead to the tomb.